Okay, and welcome to the first How the Race Was Lost. This is me recording a voiceover of how I lost my crit. Now, maybe there will come a crit where I get to actually do a How the Race Was Won. But at the moment, all my crits need to be going the same way, because I just don't have the legs to win. So this C-grade crit, it's Marconi CC. We're at the Sydney Motorsport Park on the drag track. It is pretty much a straight down in one direction and a straight back in the other direction with some what should be simple corners, but you'll see a little bit later. They're not simple for me because I still really need to work on that aspect of my riding. Now, I think to be fair, there's a point further down the track where I'm quite critical of my cornering. I think part of that is that the people ahead of me are on quite small bikes, and so they've got a shorter wheelbase, which I think allows them to get through those turns a little easier. But I'm also probably making excuses for myself there. So as we're rolling through here, to give some context, this section of the track today had a huge headwind. So normally this is a good place to try and attack, and you'll see me later in the race with that in my head. But today it was just not, because any attack, you use that downhill to consolidate and to get a little bit of a rest, and today you just couldn't, and it was too easy for the group to catch back. Just so you know, there is a guy that you might be able to see in the distance. He is from our grade, and so this little, heroes move from me, moving all the way up to the front to burn a whole packet of matches right in the first lap, is not 100% in vain, and you'll see me catch up to him a little bit later. But we are coming down the straight. You'll be able to see on the map we're about to do a left-hand turn, and then we're on the drag strip in reverse, so the opposite direction of what the cars would normally go. But anyway, let's fast forward. Alright, so here we go. We've caught old mate, and I'm going to try and play tactics here and sit on his wheel a little bit. You can see I've really slowed up. I know I've caught him, but also he knows he's being caught too. So in my head, I'm thinking this is such good racecraft. This is so clever. But honestly, dropping off the watts, losing that speed, and then he pulls to the left, I hold his wheel. Stuff that, I'm not going to let you. I should have probably been dictating the pace here, because you'll see there's attack on the right. I'm all the way over on the left. I'm speed off, watts off, and it just opens me up to having to chase this one. And it's just burning matches. So I'm a little bit frustrated even just watching this back. But you're wondering about that road surface. Yes, it is that shiny. You can actually see your reflection in the road surface here because of all the tyres and the rubber that gets burned here. It's actually really cool. It's super grippy. You would think it would be slippy with a reflection like that, but actually not. This is one of my favourite parts of the track as A-grade passes. And yes, you will see a World Tour rider go past in a little Trek jersey. That is the one and only Amanda Spratt. So yeah, anyway, let's keep rolling, because this is just me burning more matches on the front of the group. That's what I do. Alright, so we've caught old mate, and this bloke from LACC did a lot of the work there, so that was awesome. Good thing about this race in comparison to some of the other C-grade races I've done recently is there were a core group of people that were actually willing to put in a shift, which made the race a lot more enjoyable. In the past, particularly at the regatta centre, it's just been people that aren't keen. But again, you find me going to the front, and then this Bankstown Sports dude putting in another attack. But then, lo and behold, here I am again on the front of the race, pushing big watts. And it just doesn't make any sense. So I think at this point I need to kind of contextualise my day, because most people will be looking at this thinking, this is really bad racing. And look, again, it's called How the Race Was Lost, not How the Race Was Won. But to be fair, my podcast, Half Wheeling Podcast, had done an interview with Keegan Girdlestone today, on the day of the race. And for those of you who don't know his story, in 2016, in a sort of Dot Pro event, I think, he had come off the back of his bike. He was riding back onto the peloton, and the car that he was drafting had to emergency brake, and Keegan went through the rear windshield and really axed himself. And I think in the back of my mind, I had this impending doom at this race. As I was driving to the race, I just had this feeling I couldn't shake that I was going to crash. Just so you jumping in here, breaking that story up, there's always an attack here. It's the only hill, and so everyone thinks that they have a go. The stupid place to be on the front, and we'll come back to that in a little bit, because I seem to always be on the front there, but lo and behold, there's an attack. Anyway, so Keegs was having a chat about this, and then as I was driving to the race, in the back of my head, like I said, I just had this feeling that something was going to happen. Now, spoiler alert, I do stay upright, which was a big win for me. But I think what I'm doing here at the start of the race anyway is really burning a lot of that nervous energy. Now, what you see here is, I've dropped a wheel there, and then again, I dropped the wheel again. I really got to work on my cornering. It's nothing major, and it doesn't make me lose the race. Every single time I got to catch those wheels. These girls don't provide much of a draft anyway. You lose that, it's just more energy that you got to burn. It just doesn't make sense. Just got to get that better. Sometimes in the back of my head I tell myself I'm actually okay at this, and then I'll watch footage like this, and yeah, there's a lot that I need to do, but I think at the end of the day what it comes down to is evaluating what you want to get out of racing. And for me, yeah, a win is a win, but at the end of the day I'm racing C grade at the moment, although I think I'll maybe think about going up to B grade soon. Racing C grade at my local crits, you know, really what you're looking at doing here is just getting your exercise in, hey? Anyway, here's me being a hero and pushing over 1,000 watts, trying to do God knows what, really. I guess try and break away. My mate Hayden here on the front, he tries to join me, but again, it's just that headwind. You're just like really pushing in. There's a Scrubs episode where JD talks about pedaling on a bike being like pedaling in hummus, and that's genuinely what it felt like, going down this straight, trying to get something going. So yeah, it just didn't happen, but we have pulled back this group. You might have seen attack. They got about half a lap. So that was a win, but again, just more, and you see the heart rate, 185, just a lot of energy. Probably don't need to be burning, and then everyone just sits up anyway. So, yeah, anyway, I'm probably about to go full send again because it's just what I do, but get the music going. Look at that, I'm on the front again. Who'd have thought? This bloke that you see in front that just went off, he was launching attacks like the whole race. It was me and him working for biggest bullfed of this race, just constantly burning. But I think in both of our heads we know that the only chance we have of winning one of these races is we can get something going. As you can see, he's been pulled back, and yeah, at least for once, it wasn't me doing it. And we have kind of reached a point in the race where I have shed, for the most part, that nervous energy. And we are kind of at a place where I've reached a level of zen. I've accepted the fact that, at least at this point, I'm not getting that breakaway. And so we're just going to see some good fast racing where I'm quite content to sit in the group. I have accepted at this point that I don't have the energy to keep doing what I'm doing, and I think this is the first point in the race where I'm actually genuinely racing smart. So more of this in the future, please, Burgess. But yeah, let's just enjoy some parts in the race where I'm not a dickhead. Oh no, here we go. Being a dickhead again. I thought I had it with this bloke. I genuinely did. I thought we had something good. And he just pulled off and he didn't want a part of it anymore. And then I looked over my shoulder and the group was back on. And you'll see the watts just sort of fall off there. Because what's the point? The good thing about this corner, that corner there, you can take it super wide, and if you do, everyone takes it quite narrow, thinking they'll carry more speed, and you don't. And you can actually drop a lot of places at a point where a lot of people are really wanting to sit on your wheels. So if you take that corner wide, a lot of people go past you unintentionally, and it gives you the opportunity to sort of, I guess, drop a couple of places. It's just a little tactic that I've worked out over the last couple of times racing here. If you've just got someone sitting on your wheel and refusing to do a turn, just waiting to that corner and then taking it wide allows you to shed that. Yeah, we're putting the watts down again because just at that time right aside, it's time to reach that level of zen. It's time to find nirvana. Everyone else decides, you know what, I reckon it's time to start putting down some attacks. So this is again a bit of, this is where it's stupid just attacking all the time at the start of the race, because I've burnt quite a few matches and then everyone else is putting in their shift here, which is about halfway through the race. The problem is I'm getting close to being gassed at this point. Like I've done a decent amount of work, and there was a point here where I'm just kind of hanging on, getting really sick of all these attacks because they're just digging me further and further into that grave. And yeah, you can sort of see them coming, just bang after bang after bang. It was a really tough part in the race for me, and something I'll be taking into the next one is, yeah, just do less time on the front. Everyone else has the same incentive to keep the group together and to prevent those breakaways. And I just don't need to be that guy that keeps pulling them back. I don't know why I think I do, but yeah. Arrogance, nervous energy, being a dickhead. Right, now, this is actually, I think, the most hectic thing that I do in the race. Big outside, big swinging attack here. You see it come real wide in that corner, carrying heaps of speed into this corner as well, coming up to this climb, aiming to hit this with a good drop of watts, put the big gear in, do a bit of a sprint up here, see the watts start lifting, and then, yeah, again in the back of my head, sort of bang it down here, but again, you just straight into the wind. I was actually really proud of that attack. It doesn't translate so well on the video, but it was really well executed, I think. But again, the group's just straight back on you, and it's just wasted energy. Just wasted energy. And here I am, back on the front, where I love to be. It's good thing I don't have a coach, because if I don't have a coach, you'd hate me. You see the watts that I'm putting out there versus the speed though? Like that was 300 and something watts and we're going 24. That gives you an idea of how heavy that headwind is. It's proper tough. Again, you see it here, sort of climbing up to 300 watts, dead flat here, and only doing 33 k's an hour. You know, that's not small watts. So it just, I think, gives you a bit of an impression of how strong that wind actually was. No, we're not fucking around here. That's some serious wind. Not serious wind, but you know. Now, what you see here, there it is. There's the move. No, I'm full stroke this time. That was, I guess, trying to take that wide arm. People just sort of cemented on my wheel here. And this is a bit of a boring part in the race where I think people have started to accept that this is probably going to finish in a sprint. And so, yeah, it's just everyone's kind of reached an armistice, a truce for a period. And so I'm sitting on the front here, 205 watts. In my head, it's like, keep this all day. But again, it's just, if you can keep it all day, why not sit in the bunch and do 130 watts? It's just, further to the point, it's just more wasted energy. That's A grade, by the way. White numbers, that's A grade. So that's not me. There's Amanda Spratt again, though. I was so glad Hayden came back there. So I was on the front and I didn't want to be. But then here I am again on the front. And I think it's at this point, and I'm actually really excited, Cyclic has sent me the rear, the Fly 6. Just sent it out to me. I'm really excited to get some rear shots. Because at this point we are 3. So it's me, number 25, that girl, and Hayden. I was really excited, thought we might be able to get away there, just the 3 of us, but no. And again, we're coming up to that hill. Again, I'm in number 1 position and bang, 57, straight up the hill. What a stupid place to be. You would think after multiple attacks on me, on the front, on this hill, I would have learned, but I'm not the learning kind. Anyway, this number 25 is an absolute demon, but the audacity there, the audacity to flick the elbow after she has just passed me. What am I going to do? So I'm sitting on here. There's 2 people out front. I'm pretty confident at this point that I can just sit on and we can slowly bring them back. There are still a few laps to go. I'm not sweating at this point. And so, yeah, I'll do a turn. But then this guy comes along. Sometimes in a race, you need a hero. And that hero comes in this pretty boy in blue. I don't know why. And you'll see, he just pulled that attack back. We're going to go in fast forward here because it takes him a little while, but I do not get the incentive for him here. He is just pulling those 2 back by himself. You see, it lasts half a lap. Just this bloke out on front. What a gangster. What an absolute legend. Because I really didn't want to be doing this at this point. I'm thinking end of the race, end of the sprint. And yeah, little boy blue, just the engine that could. You can see them just off in the distance there. He's reeling them back. He's like a fisherman bringing in a bass. And and I'm very grateful to him. Now at this point, I think they're close enough. I reckon I might be able to have a crack. I should have done this earlier, but I think if I get on the back of here, I can maybe keep it going. I've sucked in a few, and we can keep this attack going. It doesn't work, and again, this is where I'm really excited to have the Cyclic Fly 6, because at this point, as you can see by the watts, everyone's already back on. So we're just going to fast forward, really, at this point. There's just not much point watching this. It's very much the same. So we're just going to go straight through. This is, I think, from memory, the second last or third last lap. So we're just going to come through all the way to the last lap, and then I'll run you through that. This attack is pretty much inconsequential. So. Again, number 25, Absolute Demon. It would come back later, but this is actually her first race on the road. And she just has it. She's sponsored by Hosking Bikes. I believe she's coached by a Canberran. I didn't get the name of the coach, but I was having a chat to Hosking, and they've said they've started sponsoring some women. If you don't know Hosking Bikes, they're alloy frames made by Chloe Hosking, I think, and her partner, I believe, off the top of my head, and they're basically designed to be crit pigs, and yeah, from all accounts, they're absolutely quality bikes, and they're so much more affordable. So anyway, here we are coming into the last lap. Now, I'm feeling pretty good, well positioned. I've managed to do less work, I would say, in the second half of this race than in the first half. Hayden would later say to me, "You were really racing like a dickhead," and I wouldn't disagree with him, but he pointed to the second half and just seeing me hit it again, and I certainly thought I was worse in the first half. But anyway, sitting in a good position, and at this point, all I'm focused on is positioning. I really just want to hold this spot here. You can see there's the attack up there. We're slowly pulling him back. It's a bit of a tough thing on this track. You can really lose sight of people on the camera, but it is really hard to lose sight of people when you're racing. So those breakaways, especially on the drag strip, it's really hard to get a good breakaway there, because it's so easy for a group when it's just a dead straight line to judge how hard they go, I guess, to pull you back. So very difficult track to get away on. But anyway, coming into the final couple of, I guess, semi-technical turns. I mean, obviously they're technical for me, and there's Hayden on the left, and he's about to pull up and do an absolute shift. Now, just for some context here, the number just in front of 25, another female, that's Hayden's missus. He gets a bit of a break here, and she pulls him back. Now, I don't know whether that's a dog of a move to pull your partner back when he could have won the race, but I love it. I just love that competition, that competitiveness. So yeah, there she is, number 35. She's just pulled Hayden back, put absolute steam train on the front there, and yeah, she's just reeled him back in again, like a fisherman bringing in, I guess, maybe a barracuda. Anyway, this is the last turn. This is it. Then we're coming into the sprint. And things go wrong for me here, because number 25 here cuts, I don't think it's her fault, but the footage will show, sort of cuts across my line there. Yeah, there it is. And I'd put brakes on, otherwise I was going to crash. And that's my sprint pretty much cooked. From this point, I don't think I can win the race. But the sprint is engaged. I think I've got a good wheel here. Obviously, Little Boy Blue is making some ground here, and at this point in the race, it looks like things are going to be okay. But then, the people that can actually sprint come in, and I'm not counted among those people. I really need to be able to hold one of those wheels, so I need to go to the gym, I need to do some squats, but that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ahead, and then 6 on the left there, meaning I came 7th, which I think is pretty respectable. Anyway, that is how the race was lost. Feel free to savage me in the comments. I'd love it. And if you want to see any more of these, I have some suggestions about how to streamline it. Let me know in the comments. Give it a like and maybe a sub. I don't know if you think it's worth it. Probably don't, but you're here, so that's on you. Anyway, catch you later.